the Madman! Welcome to a special edition card reveal review of Murder at Castle Nathria. Special edition. This is the time to talk about a grand new direction that Hearthstone is moving in. The Madman! He's also the Madman! This is awesome! It's Theotar, the Mad Duke. 4 mana, 3/3, neutral legendary. That's why this is such a big deal. Every class can use it. Battle cry, discover a card in each player's hand and swap them. This is disruption unlike the kinds we have ever seen before in neutral. Every class can use it, and there are reasons to use this, and this is certainly a meta where there are like single really powerful cards in enough decks that this would normally be considered a tech card, but tech cards come in when there's enough decks that are based around like key card strategies, which you can now pluck from their hand. Oopsie. And oftentimes these cards are just so powerful that it's worth trading their really good card for your really bad card. This ultimately is no card advantage. It is only a 4 mana 3/3. But even the Mayor of Valley Town must admit that not all cards are made equal. If you take their really good card and you give them a mid card, which the kids are slanging for average, but not actually average, slightly under average, despite it being called mid. That's a huge win. Normally, probably you would expect 4 mana 4/4 to give you like a card advantage. So the fact that it's a 1/1 stats lower and it doesn't even give you card advantage, it just gives you card quality advantage. The card on paper isn't that good. But when you consider the level of disruption this is, it is unprecedented. And it is actually worth running in quite a number of decks in the current meta. Obviously, the meta will change, possibly due to Theotar. Like, this is a meta-changing card, in my opinion. It's also really important to see that Theotar comes out on potentially turn 4 for a mana. People were basically complaining about Elucia before, and that was pre-specific only. And the idea was Elucia would make the opponent skip their turn if you played it in an aggressive deck and you stole their cards and you gave them nothing. Theotar's a little bit similar, but like very different in that you can steal one card, and if you have an empty hand, you won't give them a card, presumably. But Theotar is used in a very different way than Elucia. They're not going to skip their turn. You're just taking one of their cards, and you're probably usually giving them a card as well. The card you can take from them might be so critical to their strategy that it is worth the bad stats. We can even just run down the list according to meta popularity. Prester Druid is really popular right now. Wildheart Guff, Lady Prester. They'll be feeling the pain if you steal one of those. From Big Spell Mage, their entire deck is based around Belinda Stonehearth and Magister Dawngrasp. If you steal those, they'll be feeling the pain. Against Curse Lock, you can steal Brand or Tamsin, which usually gives more than one curse. From Quest Priest, you can purposely aim for the turn that they complete their quest. They usually have to play a 7 or 8 mana card, which means they can't play the 5 mana card. And then maybe you purify them. That is a good deck. I think I will take it. Against Demon Hunters, you can take their Jace. Against Control Warriors, you can take their Hero card. You can take their Kazaku-san. I can go on, but you just generally want to take their Hero card, of which a number of classes out there are using. You can take their very big card. You can take their card that's critical to their strategy. So this is a big game changer. It used to be that the only way to defeat combo decks was to kill them in time. So we had a little bit of a rock, paper, scissors here. The aggro decks perhaps beat the combo decks. The combo decks beat the control decks. And the control decks beat the aggro decks. But Theotar, the Mad Duke, throws dynamite into that equation. Because your control deck can now pull the singular combo piece from the combo deck. Like, we've seen combo disruption before. Mutinous was welcomed in, and they were like, oh my god, this is real disruption. This can beat the combo deck now. But this is, like, way more disruptive than Mutinous, because instead of a random minion, you are discovering a card. And it's a card, because some decks are winning with spells as their OTK, and not the minion. But this is flexible. It can get the spell, it can get the minion. The notable bad decks that Theotar is bad against would be aggro decks and mid-range decks where no card is really the standout, but like the entire deck just has strong cards. Good stats for the cost cards. Well, yeah, what a card! What a card! This is real disruption, and I like being able to meddle with the opponent's plans, and I like having fallback plans in case my primary plan gets ruined. And then the second card that just happened to be thrown in here is Ashen Elemental. It's a 3-mana, 2/4 elemental. Battle Cry, whenever your opponent draws a card next turn, they take 2 damage. This is dust. It's also disruption for combo decks at the end when they're about to draw cards, but this, unlike Theotar, is really limited in scope. Your opponent can just decide not to go off that turn. Your opponent easily could be a deck that doesn't draw multiple cards a turn. You can't run a 3-mana 2/4. Deal 2 damage to the opponent's face. There are some theoretical combo decks that can use Ashen Elemental as a ways to deal more damage. For example, the Curse Lock deck. You could play Ashen Elemental once their deck was gone, shuffle some Curse of Agonies into the deck, they're going to draw those cards, so Ashen Elemental would deal an extra 8 damage, but this is all very unimportant. So yeah, really, really exciting card. Love the direction of being able to meddle with your opponent more. In a way, this also encourages more minion-based gameplay, because when a critical single card would be a reason for the failure of your deck, then you're probably a combo deck that's not very interactive. Perhaps people should have multiple ways to win the game, which is generally like value over time or minion combat or stuff like that. Alright, looking forward to other cards that are coming out in the set, but wow, what a card. Just had to get this one out there.